The World Wide Web. And thank you for joining us. If anybody is going to pick up on this, so my name's Neil, and I run or help run the unofficial OMD Facebook group, and also have my own YouTube channel. So we're actually streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And this evening, I'm joined by the delightful Chris and the sexy Gary. So So yeah, guys, let's start off with we'll start off with Gary first. I think Gary, do you want to do a quick introduction of sort of who you are, where you are, and a little bit maybe on your background?
Like you've mentioned, I'm Gary. Became fifth, joined the 50 club last year. Live on the sunny south coast, smack bang in between Portsmouth and Southampton. Married with 5 wonderful children. Work in health and social care. So I've been working all through the lockdown period. Many hobbies: music, outdoor life, sport. For my sins, I'm a Chelsea fan. I know that won't go down too well at times, but yeah. And yeah, just basically been a fan of OMD since I would say around 1983, 84.
Brilliant. Thanks for the introduction there, Gary. And Chris, over to you.
I am Chris from in between Derby and Burton-on-Trent. I'm 54, 3 children, all left home, 4 grandchildren. I think it's 4. Yes, it's 4. 4 grandchildren. OMD fan since 1982, my last year at school, when Architectural Reality was released. And I've seen them endless times. Endless.
So I think we're sort of all getting onto this age of being able to hold a bus pass, and here's Paul Humphreys becoming a daddy at our age, not a granddaddy.
Yeah. Bit too old.
Shocking, isn't it?
No. Three's enough.
Do you have any children, Gary, by any chance?
Yeah, five children. No grandchildren. None of them left home yet, but hats off to him. At his age, becoming a father. As those who are parents, it's a wonderful experience. But yeah, I'm not sure if I was to become a parent at the age of 50, I'd still manage it now.
No, I think the word good luck. Yeah, I've got 4 children, and I went to the doctor. There is a cure for this. So anyway, digressing a little bit away from things and the joys of parenthood and everything. So we had a laugh and a joke with Andy McCluskey that I'm going to become a granddad before he does. So yeah, all fun and games. So Chris, you were saying you've been a fan. I think you said 1982. So you're sort of coming into that OMD sort of first album organisation period.
Yeah.
How did you twig onto them? Did you see them on Top of the Pops or Radio One?
My next door neighbour. She might be watching this. Nicola Jessup. Her name was Nicola Waterfield at the time, and she was 2 years above me. She was in sixth form, leaving school, and there was talking about this album, Architecture Morality. I thought, strange name, and then the rest is history. Got it, and yeah, I thought this is rather good, rather good.
And
But,
so, what was the first album you actually ended up purchasing then? The first album or organisation?
no, it was Architecture Morality, and then there was a record shop in Derby, Collectors Record Centre, and I bought Organisation. And when I was on a school trip to York, I got the first album with a really jazzy Italian import. I've still got it somewhere, but I don't know where. But yeah.
Oh, very, very, very smash. Let me bring in a quick comment from Robert Reed. Hello, Robert. I thought you may join us Robert, if you can hear any echo or anything, let me know if you would do. But all being well, the stream tonight should be a bit clearer than we've had in the past. Thanks, Robert, and hello. Yeah, so Gary, you sort of joined in a very similar period to Chris, by the sounds of it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
how did you sort of become aware of OMD?
mine was by chance, really. I had a friend who was into sort of electronic music around that time, around 1983ish, and he left a copy of Dazzle Ships around in his bedroom, and I picked it up. I was quite impressed with the artwork at the time. And he said to me, "Oh, you don't want to listen to that. I don't rate it." So I actually Dazzle Ships. So then I went back to the first few albums. So I'm quite a rare breed that was, Dazzle Ships was my first sort of introduction to them, and I was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah, that's a very interesting tale because obviously Dazzle Ships was the album that sort of to some extent killed the career. So sorry, Robert. Yeah, I think we've just got
Yeah.
sorry, just Robert, who's over on YouTube. I think we've just got a bit of a lag on a couple of the feeds, but it's the echo that I can't control. The internet, unfortunately, I'm a bit stuck with. So yeah, so on those sort of inaugural albums, if you like, the initial OMD journey, the first album, Organisation, and then going into the Dazzle Ship sort of nosedive and what happened. Um, I take it you continued to follow the band, sort of obviously. Well, you would do because you're here now, but obviously after Dazzle Ships, you still carried on supporting them.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have to admit, I lost a little bit of interest on Junk Culture. To be honest, I think that was because of the singles. To me, they weren't initial. Something I was really into. Never been I'm not going to lie. I'm totally honest about my love of their music. Never a massive fan of Locomotion. However, Junk Culture, there are some stunning tracks on the album. Love and Violence, I think, was a great track. And then from that, from then onwards, bought every album, went and see them on tour. And I say it now, the last couple of albums have been amazing. The last one, Punishment of Luxury, was just superb in my book.
Yeah, you've been sort of pretty well the same there, Chris, following the band throughout.
Yeah, I mean, everything. I was young then. The, all the sound, every album was different. Yes, we know Junk Culture and the Pacific Age were rushed because of record. The record bosses wanted, just to sell music, sell the songs. Um, didn't put me off. It didn't put me off. It's a shame, but when they did break up, I thought, oh, okay. And then he came back on himself. It wasn't the same, but every album's good. But there's Dazzle Ships is now a masterpiece, personally. But and the last album is just absolutely phenomenal album.
Now,
Out
just
of the three.
quick message from Jordan Dore over on YouTube. He says crack an egg on it. I'm not too sure what he wants to crack an egg on, but he
That's
says crack an egg on.
that's my comical son. He thinks he's funny. He doesn't
Ah,
appreciate the same music as me.
I should have. Sorry, so I'm not. Well, I'm going to turn my phone on mute. Much attention here, Gary. I should have spotted the surname,
Oh,
shouldn't I? So, yeah, Punishment of
yeah,
Luxury.
yeah. Sorry. I have bought him a ticket for next year at the Albert Hall, so that'll be his first OMD concert. And
Right, just
should be
excuse me 1
interesting.
minute. I need to put my phone on mute. I'm being pinged by millions of people. Just hang on a minute. My fingers crossed. That should go. Yeah, so I did an interview sort of recently with Andy. I don't know if you saw it, and he was commenting about how pleased he was with Punishment of Luxury, and indeed this has virtually come up with every interview we've had because, like, I think Punishment of Luxury is sort of right up there with Architecture and Morality, isn't it?
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's the
Um,
modern version.
so he's got quite a high bar to actually compete with. So we've obviously sort of semi touched on um, the the middle period of OMD, Andy on his own, and then we had three very sort of different. I'm going to put this phone under a cushion. We had three very different albums with Liberator, Universal, sort of, and Sugar Tax. Sorry, I'm forgetting albums. Um, And Liberator, by many fans, hasn't really gone down very well. I was just wondering what were your thoughts on those three albums? Sort of, the Liberator, the Sugar Tax, and the Universal, the solo period.
Oh.
I think from my perspective, Sugar Tax was an excellent album, and the touring around that sort of period, there's quite a lot of promotional, particularly with Sugar Tax. The following two, there wasn't so much. Obviously, the sales weren't so good. The touring wasn't there, was it? In the latter stages, but I think Sugar Tax has always been well received. I saw them a couple of times on that tour, and they at that point they were getting bigger. The venues were getting quite big, weren't they? Around
Mm.
that period, they went from playing sort of theatres to arenas, didn't they? Effectively,
Yeah.
so that really was a good period of time. Live, they were strong. Yeah, I'd say it just didn't. For some reason, the two foreign albums just didn't seem to click with people. I don't think.
Yeah, Chris, were your thoughts?
I think yeah, I think people just like the old, two keyboards, drummer, and Andy on bass and vocals. New setup, and people, oh, no, that's not right, that's not right. But you know, things happen in life. Thank God they're back. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I think the middle album, um, Gary Newman supported them. Um, I like them in smaller venues. I like them in smaller venues. Like to see them in smaller venues. But yeah, the Sugar Tax was a very good album. But like I say, they're all different. I think he was going through breakups, and it's a bit dark. Universal's a bit dark, personally. But yeah, they're all. He's a master songwriter. But yeah, they're all good.
So just a very quick message from Paul over on Facebook. So yeah, I think I saw you, Paul, do a post on the 6323003 Facebook group. Keep up the good work and keep looking after that phone box. Yeah, I think the interesting thing with Liberator and Sugar Tax, that those sort of was it sort of 3-4 year period, was obviously we've got Nigel Lippinson, Phil Coxon, obviously Stu Kershaw in on the scene. I think to some extent Nigel actually brought something to the live performances.
Yeah,
What did you enjoy him on the stage? Was larking about and sort of the charismatic Nigel Lippinson, or did you think he was trying to take over a bit?
No, it was like a musical director, wasn't he?
I personally thought he brought a new dimension. No, sorry, I thought he brought a new sort of element to the live setup. I thought he was a really great guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him prior to, I think it was Brighton gig on the Sugar Tax tour. It was a beautiful afternoon. He was rollerblading guys. He was very jovial and easygoing. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, your thoughts?
He brought the stage alive a bit more. It was like a musical director. We got the keyboards, like guitar keyboards. Well, I don't know what they call them, guitar keyboards, but yeah, no, it was geeing the crowd up into a frenzy. But yeah, I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him at the NEC.
Yeah, I'm sort of friends with Nigel. I did an interview with him about 4 years ago. I caught up with him in Bristol. Because after OMD, he went on to play with the Stone Roses. And he had quite a charismatic career, let's say, and sort of
Mm.
he went over the edge a little bit. And he uses that photograph you're talking about with the guitar keyboard as on one of his talks. It's a photograph I did of him. Yeah, I actually loved Nigel. I thought he had some cheeky comments going with Andy, and he was incredibly young. They were in their early 20s when that was happening.
Mm. Yeah, when you see the photo of the tour program of the Liberator, and they're all at the back. Andy's sitting down, and then Stuart Kershaw's at the back, and Phil and Nigel at the side. And think, oh my God, they're young. Still got it now somewhere in the roof, but yeah.
I'm fairly blessed with that. The Liberator tour program. Most of those photos in that tour program I actually took. So yeah, that's a memorial.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, so there's a credit I think at the back of there. Yeah, so we sort of then moved over. So Universal came out and just the whole industry with the Britpop, everything had changed. Nobody was buying records. The 80s were out, the 90s were in, and Andy sort of ditched OMD for want of a better word. He retired. Did you ever think OMD would actually come back after he sort of ditched them after Universal? What do you think, Chris?
Never say never. Um, I must admit, I thought that was it, but when they reformed in 2007, well, hey, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Gary, did you think they'd come back?
I thought that was the way forward for him, like with creating bands similar to Atomic Kitten and doing that kind of work. I didn't really think that and form. I then felt, would we get a new album, or will it be sort of touring? And then we got the new album, and then tours, and then another new album, and still go from strength to strength, don't they?
Yeah, so obviously the last 12 months, well, more than a year now, isn't it? It's just over a year, 13 months has been an interesting time with the pandemic that's happened globally. And obviously, Andy's announced now that, the self isolation has given him the chance to get his creative juices going. And so, fortunately, next year we've got an album to be looking forward to. And fingers crossed we'll be back to some kind of normality as well. So later in the year, coming into autumn, November, it looks all being well like the UK dates may manage to still go ahead. Are you guys sort of got tickets for any of the November gigs
Birmingham,
at all?
Birmingham,
Yeah,
and the food festival on the Wirral.
I've got Bournemouth, and then into next year, Royal Albert Hall as well. So fingers crossed.
So that's where you're taking your son to the Royal Albert Hall, is it?
Good place to start.
So just going to the Royal. I'm not doing it. I saw them the first time, and I'm just going to cherish that memory. I'm not going to try and
Mm.
replicate it, but the whole Royal Albert Hall experience is absolutely fantastic. Did you either of you go to the
Yeah,
previous one?
yes, I did. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the best one ever. Best
yeah,
best gig they've ever done.
yeah.
You'll be in for a treat. Yeah.
I did see him last time. It's a great venue, isn't it? It's like it's an iconic venue, effectively. So yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it.
And so I take it, Gary, your son's not seen OMD before. Is this will be his first concert? Is that right?
So hopefully he'll enjoy it. Yeah, it'll be good. I look forward to it.
Right. Okay. Well, when you see Jordan at the Royal Albert Hall, if he doesn't like it, can you tell him Neil Taylor says I'll crack an egg on him? Yeah, cheeky, isn't he? Yeah. So yeah, hello, Robert. You're going to Glasgow in November and down. Oh,
Yeah.
also down to the Royal Albert Hall. There you go. He'll look up with you. Robert, take an egg with you and look out for Gary's son. If he's not dancing, crack it on his head. So just again, let me just go back a little while, sort of perhaps to the twilight of the original OMD, sort of like the Pacific Age, let's say. Were either of you in the fan club or anything like that at the time, or were you just relying on music papers or whatever for information?
Smash hits for me, and record. Is it Record Mirror? Is that still going? I don't know. But Smash Hits, Record Mirror.
Yeah, Record Mirror. Yeah.
And there was they did a
They
couple
never
of
used to get
articles.
some good write-ups, did they, around that time in the music press?
No,
With
sort of, yeah, not cool enough.
Isn't it amazing? In what basically in a decade, it sort of happened where the music press that dominated the news to some extent have whittled away as the internet have taken over. And thankfully, I think we get more information now, and we're allowed to share our own experiences with fans a lot easier with the likes of Facebook, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do either of you still buy any of the music? Because obviously there are some new music publications out. Do either of you actually buy any music publications anymore?
No.
Haven't done for a while.
Excuse me.
A lot of them folded, didn't they? A lot of them,
Yeah.
just disappeared. Some of them, didn't they? Enemy and Melody Maker. Did they
Yeah.
both disappear?
Wasn't there for electronic bands?
Right, I missed the last comments there, unfortunately. I don't know, it's my internet connection. Just say that again, Chris.
There was a magazine. The band did a couple of interviews on called 1-2 Testing. I don't know whether that's fallen by the wayside. I assume it has, but there was some good articles on how they. I think it was the Crush album. Recorded it and how they fell out and little things like that. That was good. Good read.
I think it's really nice actually that obviously many of the fans sort of created sort of scrapbooks or held on to some of these magazines and articles, and it's great over on Facebook when we had somebody, I think it was last week, who'd just been up in his attic and he just found all these old press cuttings he'd managed to keep from over the years, and I think it's absolutely marvelous that some of the OMD fans have stayed so loyal with the band throughout 40 years, isn't it?
Yeah, 41 now, is it 42? 41,
Scary.
42 now, isn't it?
It, which is making us all as I say, we're all on that bus pass age, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's fine.
So Gary, when obviously when you were a wee lad listening to those first albums and attending those first concerts, and the energy that OMD have on stage, and Andy McCluskey, electricity and thrashing guitar, his bass guitar, you must have been dancing away. Have you still got the moves nowadays? Do you still go for it live?
I'm the one that stands at the back and admires the view from afar. I think more than at the front. My days at the front are long gone. I used to queue up to be at the front many years ago, but yeah, as the years have gone on, for a pint at the bar, I found that OMD do tend to select a pretty decent support act, and have done over the years, from afar, shall we say, and enjoy it. They still put on a decent light show, don't they? And I think if you're at the front, you can't really experience that as I used to. Is the reality.
And what about you, Chris? Are you there in the mosh pit with all the young ones on the front row people that are up there?
Chief Dad Dancer, but don't tell the kids because I'll embarrass them. So they come with me now. I bring them all along. The Punishment and Luxury tour. No, the souvenir tour. I bought my new daughter-in-law and X amount of family members. I'm taking my granddaughter to Birmingham at the NEC in November. Hopefully, it will go ahead. She's 8, so she likes the history of modern.
I'm just
She can bounce to that.
I'm envisaging here, Chris. Sorry, a minibus arriving with your family and the grandchildren and the
It
in-laws
felt
and
well. I started. I took my youngest son, who's 30 this year. I took him to Leicester. I'm twice in that souvenir book thing. The memoir of that is in it. That, oh, I'll go with you, Dad. I'll go with you. And then he says, well, I bet he can't sing. I bet he can't sing. At the end of the night, he came out. He went, Dad, they can sing, and that was fantastic. So the following year, he got married, and then like I say, his daughter-in-law came to this concert, and yeah, it's a family event. Oh, I'm not going to see them again, am I? Yeah, yeah, it's good.
and Gary, did you say you got 5 children?
Yeah, a couple of mine are a bit too young to experience that at the minute. My youngest is 8. 2. They don't share the same music as I do, I'm afraid. I've been to a few concerts, but none of them with them are like OMD or anything like that.
I took Lee, my youngest, so he must
Yeah,
have been about, I don't know.
maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah, so I took Lee. I can't remember why I had to come pick something up from Andy's house, and my son he must have been about 10, and he doesn't like OMD. He just thinks it's all completely weird. So so Andy was chatting to him, and I just turned around to Andy and said, Lee thinks your music is weird, and Andy goes, "Good lad." So, yeah, actually, quite a memorial moment there. Okay, guys, listen, I'll only keep these sort of like under 30 minutes. We're just approaching that sort of period, and I'll try and take it completely off topic if I can somehow. So
Mhm.
let's start with you, Chris. Chris, I'm at the
Mhm.
bar and I'm going to buy you a drink. So I'm now replicating any other OMD fans now that see you at the bar. What am I
Mhm.
going to buy you? What's your tipple?
Oh. Being as though it's you, gin and tonic.
Oh, now then, sorry. Now gin and tonic. Very. Hang on, we're very posh here now with you on your iMac. And are we talking about a pink gin with strawberries in and a bit of melon and things like this, and an umbrella?
Oh no, not enough. No. Just maybe a blueberry or a raspberry.
Where on earth has shoving fruit in your gin and tonics come from? It used to be a bit of lemon.
Do you want me to get the wife? I'll ask her.
Oh dear. And you're right, Gary. So same to you. So if anybody watching this sort of bumps into you at the bar, what should they get you?
I'm just if it's a OMD gig, it'll be just a straight bottle of lager, I think. A glass of dry white wine or a whiskey. So I mean, it depends on the occasion. But if I'm out drinking at a gig, it would be just a bottle of lager or something.
So I'm now curious here. Now, Gary, you've got my curiosity going. So if it's at the gig, it's just a bottle of lager. So after the gig, when you're in the pub and you've got no children, what is it after the gig in the pub?
It's going to be a whiskey, isn't it? When you had a good night, you've seen a good band. It's a get hit onto the whiskey, I think.
It sounds good to me. Right, guys, I'm going to sort of wrap it up there. So before I do go, so there is a bit of a lagging sound. But Chris, do you want to ask Gary anything, or Gary, do you want to ask Chris anything?
Why Chelsea?
Why Chelsea? Wow. My dad, funny enough, my dad, when I got first introduced to football, my dad had trials for them. He was
Oh, right, okay.
unsuccessful.
Okay.
He was unsuccessful, but it went from there. I've got, I'm stuck in between Southampton and Portsmouth, and I don't follow either of those, but I was a bit so.
Haventon Waterlooville then.
Yeah, not far. Yeah, not far down the road actually. Yeah. What about you?
What, football wise?
What about I think you sort of touched on favourite. Yeah,
Sorry, didn't get that. Favourite?
it was
No.
team,
Didn't get any of that. Sorry.
favourite football team.
Oh, sorry. Watford.
What? He's laughing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we better not get on to views of this. I don't do football. We better not get on to this views of this Super League malarkey. What's going on? It's upsetting a lot of people. So sorry, just quick.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Robert, thank you for joining us and everything. Right, guys. I'm going to bid everybody a farewell and thanks for joining us. And it's really good to see you as well. So hope you've sort of enjoyed that, and it's been a
Absolutely.
very good fun.
Thank you. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thanks ever so much, and everybody for watching. I'm sorry about the slight distorted sound, but hey ho, that's technology for you. So yeah, we'll see you another time. So a big massive thank you to Chris and a great big massive thank you to Gary. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.